Good afternoon. In this video, I will be explaining or sharing my point of views and my findings about the paper Teaching for Social Justice, Creating a Context for Transformation, written by Rebecca Todd Peters, member of the Ellen University. This pedagogical movement starts by understanding that knowledge is situated, and by these the author means that every knowledge has a cultural aspect or religious aspect or gender or education or geographical aspect that will influence that knowledge in a way. That means that all knowledge will be partial, subjective, and situated. So knowledge without partiality will not exist, according to the author. So what we know and what we can know is shaped by our knowledge and experience of the world. So every knowledge that we acquire will be related to our experience and our previous knowledge, and also all the situation that surrounds that knowledge at the moment we acquire it and at the moment it happens. So this situated knowledge leads to the transformative education. So by transformative, before we go to transformative education, we have to mention that since these, because of this conception of situated knowledge, learning happens when you when you have a dialogue between your experiences and the new knowledge. So the learning process will be a dialogue between what the student knows and what you want him to know. The transformative education then is to understand that, first she quoted Fear, arguing that education is oriented toward the cause of liberation or in support of domination. And what this means is that education will always try to either set you free or impose a doctrine on you. So transformative education is to use the experience of the student and the previous knowledge as the starting point. So you can put people's experience into conversation with the theories that you want them to know. And this might enable them to develop more critical forms of self-reflection. So you start from what they know in order to achieve what you want them to know. And this will be building a bridge between their personal lifestyle and the experience and the ethical problems that we will study in the class, taking into account that the author is an ethics teacher. So this will motivate them to empower themselves in order to engage in a collective response to injustice. Okay, so by using their experience, you will empower them to respond and to try to find solutions. So they will also need to develop an understanding of their connection and the relation and the responsibility they have towards these issues. Make them feel that they are part of the problem, so they have and need to have or find a solution. So experiential exercises will facilitate that transformation in a way that a purely cognitive approach to the subject often do not. So you need to use experiential exercises, practice, and use the experience for the learning process, since only the cognitive aspect will not reach what we want the students to achieve. Now, in order to reach this transformative classrooms, or this transformative teaching, you need to create transformative classrooms, the environment, the appropriate environment for these pedagogical movement. So we she introduces this transformative, the process of creating these transformative classrooms by saying that we learn by making meaning of our experiences. She quoted Kolb on that, David Kolb. So in order to do this, well, the idea is for us to become informed citizens capable of assessing problems and thinking about creative and realistic solutions. So you need to be part of the problem and create or come up with creative and realistic solutions. In order to do this, she mentions three main points. She closes with a fourth one, but these three main points will lead you to creating a transformative classroom. The first one will be creating an open learning environment. And by these, she means that the students, first you have to get to know the students individually, because you need to understand them and know what their experiences are. Since we said before, those experiences will be our starting point in order to start acquiring new knowledge. And then you have to work on building a community between them. Build a community so they interact and help each other, and all of them work together towards your objective or your class objective. So these knowledge and beliefs that you will learn about them when you try to get them to know individually, these knowledge and beliefs that learners bring to a learning task, you have to use this as a starting point, as I said before you introduce the new instruction, and then you have to monitor this conception changing process as it evolves, as the instruction proceeds. The idea is for you to introduce assignments that will lead you to knowing them. She gives an example of a family tree where they will share all the experiences they have had with their family, and then you will get to know their context, their family, and their thoughts about their life experiences. And you can ask the students to do these assignments in small groups as a way to facilitate the community building process. Then the second point will be challenging students where they live, and this means by using their context to apply the knowledge they're acquiring with you. That means that the exercises are meant to be part of their daily basis, personal history, assumptions, and daily practices. So whatever exercises you choose to use, you have to try to make these part of their daily actions. So his actions empower them to think intentionally about potential real solutions to real problems in your world or in our world. That means that if you apply the exercise on your daily routine, you will think about real solutions because you are becoming part of the problem, or you are identifying the problem as your own. And the third one will be fostering civic responsibility. And by these will be to try to promote a project, a social project, that makes them go through the possible changes and how can you change the society. And the civic responsibility will become real in them when they try to solve problems and see how society changes. Maybe not in a macro or major change situation, but they could start with their closest communities, such as family or academic community. And by changing their context, they will become civically responsible. And she closes the paper with what she calls a spiral of praxis. And this spiral of praxis will be when the theory and the practice meet. In a way that first you need to acquire some theory, to go and review some theory, in a way that you have enough criteria to reflect upon the problem after you face the situation, the problematic situation. So the idea of transformative praxis is that theory and action are encountered by students in a spiral of learning. That will be all. Thank you for your attention and have a good day.